Hi, everyone. Welcome to Read, Watch, Listen from the EBPL podcast. I'm your host, Chris Barnes. Today, we are going to be talking about what Melissa Hozik, our adult programming librarian, is reading, watching, and listening. How's it going, Melissa?
I'm doing okay, Chris. How are you?
Good to hear. Great at the EBPL studios in lovely East Brunswick. You're the adult programming librarian. What exactly do you do for East Brunswick Public Library?
I run programs, concerts, lectures, DIY classes for adults because kids have fun all the time at the library, but adults can too.
What's your favorite program that you've ever done at the library?
I really love doing the DIY classes. In the beginning, I used to do cooking classes as well. It's doing hands-on things, seeing people learn, and have fun and socialize.
And having gone on several library outreach events with Melissa, everyone knows her in town. She does a great job programming. To get back to our podcast today, it's Read, Watch, Listen, and we talk with people in our community about what they've been reading, watching, and listening. This is all stuff that you can find here at East Brunswick Public Library, and our physical collection is a digital download. You want it, we can help you find it. Let's start with the read first. What did you just read?
I read the 13th novel of the Bakeshop mystery series by Ellie Alexander, and it's available in print and on eLibrary New Jersey as an ebook. As a lot of staff know, I love food. I love cookbooks. I love recipes. I love talking about food. I like to read about food too.
So what are the Bakeshop mysteries about? Because that sounds like a very specific subgenre of mystery.
The Bakeshop mystery series is a cozy mystery. The first book is called Meet Your Baker. Yes, all the titles are puns. The series follows pastry chef Juliet Capshaw. She was on a cruise ship and her heart is broken by her husband. She goes back home to figure out what she wants to do with her life. She is from Ashland, Oregon, which is the home of the Oregon Shakespeare Festival. Her family runs a bake shop business called Tort with artisan coffees and pastries and helps run it with her mom when she comes back. And she reunites with people like her high school love Thomas. Then she somehow falls into a lot of murders. And she wants to help solve them because she's personally involved with them. She works with her friend Lance, who is the creative director of the Oregon Shakespeare Festival. And they get themselves in a lot of trouble trying to solve these. Thomas, the high school flame, is the local detective. And eventually she solves most of the mysteries, and they're actually on the 14th novel now. I just read Mocha She Wrote.
Now, I could go for a mocha cake. You can tell we're recording this during lunchtime. So that's good. Now, the watch part, what's something you've been watching recently?
I am watching No Passport Required, a PBS documentary, which you can watch on Hoopla. It follows Chef Marcus Samuelson. You may have recognized him from Food Network. He is a originally New York-based chef. He was born in Ethiopia. He was adopted and raised in Sweden, and he's come here to the U.S. He knows the immigrant experience, knows that things have been especially challenging, whether people's families immigrated decades ago or they're refugees now. He wants to highlight food businesses and tell those stories. The first episode, he's in Detroit and follows the Middle Eastern community. He shares a meal with a Syrian refugee family. He actually has Iraqi falafel that has a different kind of bread. I didn't know this. Now I want it. I don't know if I can find any in the area. If any of our listeners know, please let me. He follows some Lebanese chefs. Some of these people have been for decades, and some are with refugee status. And he tells these inspiring stories. Every episode is a different city, and it makes me hungry.
Obviously, that sounds pretty cool and very tasty. Which one was your favorite episode?
It actually is the Detroit one. I did not know that there is a large Middle Eastern community in Detroit, and it's been for generations. And seeing that and just completely not being aware of it really was an interesting thing to learn about, especially because there is a large Lebanese community here in central New Jersey.
Way to tie it together. And our last question is the listen one. So what have you been listening to?
I actually love podcasts a lot. That's why we helped start the EBPL podcast here. Thank you again, Chris, for helping make that happen.
No problem. And shameless plug, you can find all our great podcasts at anchor.com/EBP Library.
Yes, and on all your favorite podcasting platforms where you're listening to this right now. I'm listening to the 5-Minute Film Finder at the Pioneer Library System, which is based in Oklahoma. They highlight films available on Hoopla and Canopy, and they entice you and encourage you in under 5 minutes to tell you about the movie and get you to want to watch them. And they usually review 2 shows at a time. And sometimes they have a theme, sometimes they don't. They did one that was 80s movies. They did the one that was punk themed. I know that Chris would probably enjoy that one. And so all these are available to you guys as well with your East Brunswick Library card or LMXAC Library card, or most public libraries have access to Hoopla and or Canopy, which stream TV shows. Hoopla actually does music and comic books, right, Chris?
Yes, they do.
Documentaries, great courses. Definitely check out 5-Minute Film Finder from the Pioneer Library System. We'll link it in the show notes.
Pretty cool. So on the 5-minute series, what was a discovery that you came across that you were like, oh, this is great. I would have never known about this.
I didn't know about the film Valley Girl, and they did the episode. They had Girls Just Want to Have Fun. And I love 80s movies, but they were films I didn't know about. They do have some of the normal tropes of girl loves boy, boy loves girl, problems ensue. But it has some interesting cultural things that I definitely want to go back and watch.
Well, that sounds good. And I think this is going to wrap it up for Read, Watch, Listen from the EBPL Podcast Network. I'm Chris Barnes. This episode was produced and edited by Melissa Hozik, who is also our guest. Make sure you subscribe to us on your major podcasting platforms or listen at anchor.com/EBP Library. For more information, visit ebpl.org. I'll see you at the library.
Thank you for listening.